Hey, my name is Vern, and I'm with the Morning Glory Helpers. And this past summer, I've had a couple of questions about why do I wear the chapel veil and where did that come from? And I just thought I'd share my journey with you guys. So it was probably about 2 Easters ago, and I remember seeing some women in the church wear them and being drawn to it and thinking, "Oh, how reverent and wonderful." But especially when I went to a daily mass and I saw a mother and her daughter there at church. Her daughter was probably 4 or 5 years old, and it was just precious to see that little veil on her head. And I just thought, that is so beautiful. And what an example that mother is setting, and feeling really drawn to it and wanting to know more. So in that moment, after church, I share with Clay, and I'm like, "Oh, did you see this? And what do you think about that? And what do you think it means? And would you be embarrassed if I wore something like that?" And really surprised by his reaction because he was like, "No, I think it would be beautiful." And I was like, "Really?" And in my own doubt, thinking, I don't know, maybe not. You know what I mean? That type thing, even though having his support. So I go to spiritual direction probably a week or two later. And the priest that I'm seeing says, "So, Vern, have you ever considered wearing the chapel veil?" And I was like, actually, now that you're saying this to me, I feel like this is something that the Lord is drawing me to and is inspiring me to do, but I'm not quite sure about it. What does it mean? What can you tell me about it? That type thing. And he said, well, that there were other women in the church who were interested, and he was sharing a video with them about more information. I was like, man, great. Send it to me in an email. I'd love to know about it. So I don't know if it was in my reluctance or what it was, but I did watch the video. And a couple of months go by, and Clay and I are making a trip to College Station. So there's a beautiful winery there, and anytime we go on vacation, we love to offer up our trip to the Lord and go to a daily mass. So right away, and if you really know me, this is what I do. I always go straight for the information desk because they normally have free books or free cards, and Clay's always like this about it. But I love it, and they have a prayer book there, and I like writing all my intentions in there. Anyways, so we go into this beautiful church, and I dart straight for the information desk. And I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, what do I already have? What am I missing? That type thing. And I see this card, and it says, Rediscover Reverence. And I'm like, it's probably another vocation card, praying for the priesthood, or you need to become a nun. And this is it, Rediscovering Reverence. So, and I turn it over, and it says, are you considering veiling at Mass? And I was like, I was like, yes, I am. And, it's so good. It's from the Lord when he repeats a message to you. You know what I mean? And here he was so gently and kind of whispering to me, wear the chapel veil. I'm calling you to wear this chapel veil. And me kind of being like, I'm not sure, Lord. And so anyways, I picked this card up and just about die and tell Clay about it because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. And one of the most beautiful things it says on here, it says, if you're thinking about beginning this beautiful devotion, remember that it is God before whom you wish to humble yourself. And I thought, oh, how beautiful, how powerful. Yes, Lord, Like a religious habit, your veil is a public proclamation of your desire to submit to the will of God for your life and of your commitment to answering the universal call to holiness and continual conversion. And I just thought, oh my gosh, in the theme that the Lord was repeating to me was to die to myself, to unite my will with God's will. And then here he was saying it in this card again. You know what I mean? And I said, okay, Lord, you're calling me to veil. And this, and just kind of even lamenting my feelings about it. And also kind of hearing, are you more concerned with what the world thinks or with what I think? You know what I mean? Oh, that sting. So anyways, truth be told, months go by because it's not until Christmas that this gets brought up again. And so I'm opening up my Christmas presents, and I'm realizing what I'm opening. And Clay has gifted me with a chapel veil, and I couldn't believe it. I remember when I saw it, I was really choked up, and it really moved me. So this is it. And I thought, man, this man, you know what I mean? Like our spiritual leader of our home He knew the desires of my heart. He knew what God was speaking to me. And I never asked him this, but either it must have been in my own fear or in my procrastination. He knew that I needed him to help me to take the next step. You know what I mean? And it was quite beautiful. And I loved even more that the specific veil is the veil of Saint Therese, and it has all the little flowers on it. And and it just meant so much because she means so much to me as a great saint. You know what I mean? So, and even in it, how crazy that in this excitement of wanting to wear this veil, all of a sudden kind of having that doubt creep in and say, oh, you can't turn back now. You have to wear it. Are you ready to wear it? Um, it just almost feeling maybe some embarrassment, and how terrible, and I feel like that's how it is kind of in your spiritual life. You're like, yes, Lord, I desire to serve you. And then the worldly things sting you. You know what I mean? So, and I thought, I never watched that video. I need to watch that video that my spiritual director gave me. So when I watched this video, the first thing that she says is that she was feeling a call to be more radical, but didn't know what that meant or how to be radical. So she's in adoration, praying, and she feels God speak to her heart, saying, "Wear the chapel veil." And then, so as I'm hearing this, my heart is racing, right? And he was calling her to be radical, like Saint Peter. And I thought, amazing. And then as you continue to hear the different testimonies of these different women and saying how you're truly drawing people to believing in the real presence of the Lord, because you wear the veil at any mass because we believe Jesus is present, and at adoration. And so you don't wear it just at any time during the day, but only at mass when the Lord is there. And in my conversion, the Lord has taken me so much from knowing that Jesus is in the Eucharist to believing with my full heart. And just even thinking to myself, if Jesus were to be here today and be standing before me, would I not kneel before him? Would I not humble myself before the Lord? Yes. You know what I mean? So after watching this video, I'm feeling this burn and this desire and this conviction. Yes, Lord, thank you for this gift of this veil through my husband. Thank you, Lord, for calling me to do this when I feel so unworthy, and excited to do it. So we're headed to our first Mass after Christmas, and hoping that I see my spiritual director there. Because I remember when talking to him, he said, "Don't worry about what others think. I've got your back." And I thought, man, his encouragement and his confidence was just what I needed. You know what I mean? To continue to help my own confidence in doing this. So we're walking into Mass, and let me show you. Hold on. So we're walking into Mass, and I'm putting my veil on. Let me show you. Hold on. And I remember having one of my boys in hand, and Clay had the other, and we're walking in. And I hear Clay say from behind me, he says, "Oh, it feels like walking behind Mother Mary." And and I felt like he must have been saying it to himself, because I felt like he wasn't saying loud enough that he wanted me to hear it. And it pierced my heart, because I thought, yes, this is what I desire, to imitate Mother Mary, to draw closer to her son in such personal way, to be an example for my children. You know what I mean? And it was just the most beautiful compliment that I could have ever received. And especially for the first time, feeling nervous, because I had never done it before. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have this veil on my head. I'm feeling really nervous about it. And the Lord knew that that's what I needed to hear, because it gave me this peace, and nothing else mattered anymore. Any other doubt, fear that I had was taken away, and I had this peace the rest of the time. So then we walk into the church, and I see my spiritual director, and I'm like telling him about it, and we're like this, and we have this moment, and it was beautiful, and it felt like a gift in itself, because you don't know which priest is going to preside on the Mass. And it has taken the Mass to me to a whole nother level. So I'm telling you, if this is something that you desire, if this is something that you've been thinking about doing, I encourage it. Do it. And what do you have to lose? And I even have small children, and they end up in my mantle, and they play around, and you think it would be distraction, but it's not. If anything, it has made God's word more intimate. It has made going to communion more personal, and like believing that Jesus is in the Eucharist, right? And then when you go up to communion with the chapel veil, it makes my heart explode, because I'm telling you, it just takes it to this whole other level of humility, of excitement, of being before the Lord and to receive Him. This gift of being able to receive the living Jesus. I received so much healing through it, and it has taken my faith to a whole nother level. And so, if this is something you desire, I give you the confidence to do it, because the only thing that matters is what God thinks, and uniting your will closer to God's will, and being like a star, you know what I mean, or being a symbol that will draw others to remembering that the real living Jesus is at Mass every time, and even when you go to adoration. So anyways, I highly encourage you to do it. If you have any other questions, please send me a message. I'd be more than happy to answer it. And I'll be praying for you for the courage and the confidence to do it as well. I promise it will change things. Have a great day. Bye.